Anachronism number 3503. Posted Thursday, February the 3rd, 2022 on anachronisms with a z.blogspot.com. This is Delray Cross. This is a long poem. I'm reading the February 2022, very recent ones. This is because today is the April the 8th, 2022, so this is not very far away, far behind, not too long past. The Two Things That Frighten Me the Most is the name of this poem, the subtitle. What strikes the most fear in me, you might ask? And I don't mind revealing my deepest fears. It's really very simple even, and here's what they are. Death and love. Death makes sense, you might say, and of course you're just a bit too wary upon quick reflection that love does too, but you keep that thought tucked away in your head as you let me explain. Well, it's really very simple. It's death and love that give me the highest levels of anxiety and the longest durations of pause. Death, for reasons I'd assume that it stays number one at the top of most everyone's list. Number one at the top of most everyone's list. This is what I said. I don't remember. I mean, I just was noting in the last poem that I read, I don't remember these poems very well. They've just been less than 2 months away. Less than 2 months ago. Which is one of the reasons that I'm reading them. And I know that I wrote them so fast that this is another reason is to kind of edit. I know already there are edits I need to make in the last poem. And I do edit these things as I go along, as I open them up and reread them. Not usually here, but sometimes. Death, for reasons I'd assume that it stays number one at the top of most everyone's list, be it week after week after week, with no movement or aggregately, with a few minor dips before rising back to the top of the bullet where it remains, therefore remains on the whole. But why, you might ask, and the answers are easy, if not a bit numerous. It's because of the pain. It's because of the limitless options there are by which a poor soul might find it. It's because of the nasty and horrid unknown. Will it be in my sleep? Might it be met by a literal weapon, like, say, for example, the hands of a human by strangulation, or a sword that someone's hand might thrust in such a mean way that in so doing connects me directly between mortal perpetrator and vile liaison to the great beyond, or by way of shrapnel, by gun, or by cannon or such, whether with or without intent. Could my great termination come by way of a slew of misshapen pieces, or by one singular, abrupt, minuscule piece? It be a disease during which there'd be a crescendo of pain that goes on for some years, or be quick as a head-on collision of automobiles at some determinate intersection, or in one that, some indeterminate intersection, or in one that is stretched as if in slow motion while driving off the road and driving down some magnificently elevated cliff, or off a long and infamous bridge. Not only is there no way of ascertaining, there is also no way to list all the possible ways one might meet our bleak and more often than not undesirable destiny. So to counter this maddening, scary inevitability, I'd sincerely advise that one live every moment of your life like your last. Because much as you like, there is such a little chance that one might be a day beyond death. Though, if I had my druthers, I'd exist forever. No matter that breathing might get old and grow tiresome, and our broken down bodies become increasingly creaky and tired of it all. But this living, these things that I've yet to experience, to live, that is all that there is, don't you know? Or at least all logic that our heart might allow our dear brains to reason should surely be plenty to take such a gift as this life seriously. Doesn't it seem so to you, as it does, and with clarity to me, to partake in the act of just giving a modicum of pleasure to someone, to others, and just to allow oneself the luxury of one moment or two, or maybe more, just as much as you can gather, if one is lucky enough, of sheer pleasure, of the happiness that might come unexpectedly, as if out of nowhere, or that is meticulously planned by your very own hands, and hands are notorious for their roles in such things, or, and most especially if the joy, if the pleasure is selflessly given, a gift from, and here's where my two greatest fears butt heads. Someone you love. The most giddy and human of joys and of pleasures, the best cause for happiness, it turns out, is as well the most asinine catalyst for all of the things that are no good in life, like the aforementioned pain and the wretched emotions, the tears made of sadness and the ones made of joy. A great symptom of love is all too often, as well, can be the twin fear we've called death, but of course. So that love, that greatest of things that can be had in the duration of time that is our own existence, is also, much thanks to its conniving twin, and so quite paradoxically, the singular thing that most often, or assuredly, leads us to our bitter ends. And all the world's mysteries, its secrets and riddles, yes, all the respective keys of our very undoings must bow in obeisance to this life, not to love, but to its evil twin, which is death, if you follow, and all the way up, no matter the journey, until he is met, until death doth find us as naught but our final dust. We each, and to the best of our knowledges, do not and cannot know that which is beyond, with all we might learn this side of that cursed meeting, not even a singular clue, which thus far, and until we have finally breached it, if even such minuscule chance might exist, then. And so there you have it, my two deepest fears, the one of which most all of us dreary romantics cannot live without, and the other with one ill wind, a lifeless breath that must yet and inevitably consume, and therefore eradicate, each to a person of all of what fleetingly is us, and in but a blip of an instant. And while those of us who've grown old over this impending, this all too often disheartening battle, while we might for a moment or two pause a while at the fact that the existence of love, just the same as the existence of self, can never, not ever, once win in the end. While we're caught in the web of what's this side of death, we, or should I more clearly say I, will most assuredly continue to aspire towards love, and, God willing, continue to achieve it, all the way down to its bitter, mysterious end.